around you. And now, Channel 3 News.
Good evening, Cleveland and all of northeastern Ohio. I'm Judd Hembry.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Connie Deacon. Little Dyshawn Fox is out of the hospital now, but his aunt and her boyfriend are in big trouble. The city prosecutor is charging them with allowing a child access to a firearm. Dyshawn was shot by his 8-year-old brother, who was playing with a loaded handgun.
And we simply will not tolerate the careless placement of handguns within homes within easy access of minors.
The city's gun law holds adults responsible for their guns. It's been on the books now, that law, for about a year.
Tonight, Mayor White is calling for strict enforcement, and Channel 3's Lisa Calagrassi is up in the newsroom. And Lisa, what kind of charges are these adults facing tonight?
Well, Judd and Connie, Lonnie Fox, Dyshawn's aunt, was home the night that he was shot by his brother accidentally. But her boyfriend, Eric Shelton, who owns the gun, he wasn't home. In fact, he was in jail on a pending drug charge. But Mayor White says it doesn't matter whether you're home or not. If you own a gun, it's your responsibility to keep it away from children.
Ma'am, okay? Do you know if there's... My baby, please don't die. Ma'am, do you know if there's more than one wound? I don't know if there's one. We heard one gunshot.
Too many frantic calls, too many gunshots, too many wounded children. It's the recent shooting of 6-year-old Dyshawn Fox that has renewed Mayor White's desire to charge adults for not being responsible around children. In this case, a loaded .22 caliber gun belonging to Eric Shelton was in the house.
Those gun laws that are on the books, those laws dealing with smoke detectors and the maintenance of smoke detectors are going to be vigorously prosecuted irregardless of the emotional outcome. Failure.
Mayor White calls it his zero-tolerance program, a program he hopes will put a dent in the growing gun violence. In this case, Lonnie Fox and Eric Shelton have been charged with possessing an unregistered gun and access of a gun to a minor. Shelton's also charged with owning a gun after being convicted of a felony. Now, Mayor White says this law is a way for the city to try and protect children if the adults around them don't. Now, conviction on this charge for allowing minors access to guns carries a $1,000 fine and a 6-month jail term. Judd and Connie, back to you.
Serious charges and serious penalties. Thanks, Lisa. And today, a 14-year-old was sentenced in the shooting death of another teenager. Hazel Thomas was shot and killed on this porch back in October. The youth who pulled the trigger said he was showing off the gun and pulled the trigger by accident. Today, the teen was sentenced to a minimum 1 year in a juvenile detention facility, but could be held until he is 21 years old. Now, the victim's mother feels that the system absolutely betrayed her.
I just don't feel it was done right. Because they can give him as many years as they want. It's not going to bring my daughter back. And she didn't like guns. She was a beautiful child.
Hazel's mom says she will write to a higher court in hopes of keeping the teenager behind bars just as long as possible. In downtown Cleveland at noon today, somebody may have been shooting a pellet gun at a Cleveland police horse. Police officer Mary Barron and her horse Bandit were patrolling at East 9th and Superior.
What happened? Were they shooting at you on the horse or what?
I don't hope not, but it looks like it. I was trying to hang a ticket, and the horse was jumping around a little bit. I heard some noises, and then the window exploded.
Now, that window she was talking about, the rear window of a parked car, was smashed, apparently by a pellet gun. Police began searching for the person responsible. No one was injured, but Officer Barron and Bandit were stunned.
Well, tonight, Cleveland police are searching for 2 men who used an automatic rifle to stage a daring robbery. Channel 3's Joe Mossbrook says they may have gotten away with $15,000 worth of cigarettes.
As an employee reported for work at the M&S Candy and Tobacco Company on Broadway, 2 armed men forced him to let them into the tobacco distribution warehouse.
They were armed with what appeared to be an Uzi or machine gun type weapon.
The gunman then forced several other employees into the rear of a truck and locked them in. According to a spokesman for the company, the men then loaded about 35 cases of cigarettes, or about $15,000 worth, into a company-owned van. As the robbery was underway, another employee reported for work. He saw what was happening, he hid, and then called the police. He told the police he saw the men drive the red van up the street over the railroad tracks. The police had to break into the warehouse. Several hours later, the owner of a garage on Kinsman spotted an unfamiliar vehicle parked behind his business. He called the police. The police identified the red van as the one the gunman had taken from the tobacco warehouse. But there were no cases of cigarettes inside, and the police began to question the theft claim.
We don't know yet. We're still checking.
The police also discounted speculation that the gunmen were the same people who've been using an automatic weapon to rob area banks. Joe Mossbrook, Channel 3 News on Kinsman Avenue.
There's one other point here. On Saturday, 2 men armed with an automatic weapon forced a man out of his car at a Euclid shopping center. They stole the car then. Police are looking if there might be any possible connection there. Well, the case of the bag full of bullets and blood has been solved tonight.
That's in our follow-up file. Now, we told you last night that someone dumped these bags on an east side curb. Then animals ripped the bags open, spilling out bloodied locks of hair, bullets, and other trash. Well, tonight, the coroner says the bag held deer remains, probably left by hunters, mixed with wigs. Very strange anyway.
The coroner has now identified the body that washed ashore this weekend near Edgewater Park. It's 18-year-old Sean Knight of Madison Avenue in Lakewood. Knight drowned, but police are still investigating. Well, teaching has certainly never been easy. These days it's getting dangerous, not just in the classroom. 9 South Central High School students in Huron County may be charged with placing pipe bombs on a teacher's property and then vandalizing her home. Social studies teacher Teresa Staten says that one of the bombs blew up her mailbox. The principal, police are trying to decide now what is the best action to take against those students.
The holiday season not only means more shoppers, it also means more shoplifters swiping merchandise. And you and I will wind up paying higher prices to cover those losses. Channel 3's Tom Barris found merchants stepping up security and warning would-be shoplifters, don't.
More people, more merchandise, more temptation. During the holiday hustle, that recipe adds up to more shoplifters grabbing stuff to give, sell, or keep.
Shoplifting increases.
A lot.
A lot.
Retailers claim 30% of shoplifting losses come around Christmas, almost $3 billion worth. Stores like Hills hire more plainclothes detectives to walk the floor, watch strategic mirrors, and try to catch shoplifters red-handed. This detective, we'll call her Sarah, claims the holiday makes people take chances.
More desperate, a lot more bold, walk stuff out the doors. They don't have the money, so they steal.
But in a self-service hands-on store, you can't watch everyone. At Hills, employees get monthly refreshers and reminders to watch for sticky-fingered customers and rewards when they catch one.
Among the hottest items for Christmas time, shoplifters were told, CDs, videos, and video games.
Here's a wrinkle you may not have heard of, kind of shoplifting in reverse. People bring merchandise off the shelf for a refund, claiming, I lost the receipt.
So you're trying to sell you back your own merchandise?
Yes, that type of activity costs us money too.
More stores are getting tough with shoplifters, both pressing criminal charges and suing for losses. But we all should remember our holiday bills are a little higher to pay for Christmas time crime. Tom Barris, Channel 3 News.
Retailers have another big headache, theft by employees. That increases during the holidays too, in part because of so much temporary help.
Well, sounds like we're headed for some pretty miserable weather, though.
Well, Eileen is in for Amy tonight and has our first forecast. Eileen?
And Judd and Connie, it sure would be nice to have a little bit of snow maybe to make those Christmas decorations a little more seasonable, but it's not going to happen, at least not in the next 24 hours. In fact, if you look at our regional radar, you'll see what's there instead. It's some rain showers. We should see them probably by about midnight tonight. Expect them overnight, during the day tomorrow. Nothing too heavy, but of course nothing in the way of snow. Maybe we'll look for a little bit of snow later on in our 5-day forecast. Connie and Judd?
Okay, Eileen, as long as we have it for next week, that'll be fine. Well, thousands of needy Cleveland families will have a more enjoyable holiday season thanks to the Salvation Army. Today, volunteers began distributing all the toys, the food, and the clothing at the convention center. About 9,000 needy families who signed up last October are going to be helped. Many area high school students were there today to help out.
Ho, 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 ho. What do you do when your child asks Santa for something that you just can't get? Season report.
And pretty soon all the city buses will be running on natural gas. We'll tell you why. And these seniors, high-stepping into the holidays, will catch their whole act a little later.
And later in sports, Lenny Wilkins and his winning Hawks are in town. We'll find out how life is treating him in Atlanta. Stay with us.
Tonight's Channel 3 News is sponsored by Toys R Us for super low prices.